Welcome to the moment you never thought would arrive. Welcome to the reckoning, to the battlefield of shadows and silence, to the exact second where masks fall and illusions bleed out in the open. This is where it happens. This is where you become the very thing they tried to break, bury, and deny. You've been walking with your head down, pretending not to notice the weight of the lies they wrapped you in. But now, you've set it all on fire. And not with whispers, not with hints, you dropped a nuclear truth. The kind that melts the air, the kind that turns kings to ashes. And now, they can't hide. Not behind polished suits, not behind smiles carved with manipulation, not behind systems built to keep you in chains. This isn't a story about vengeance. This is the birth of something monstrous, magnificent, and unapologetically real. You didn't ask for permission to rise. You kicked the goddamn door off its hinges, and they heard it. Oh, they heard it echo across the halls of power and fear, and now they run. But it's too late, because you've arrived, and you brought the truth with you. Before we go any deeper, if you felt that heat in your chest, that shiver of recognition, then this is your world now. Hit that subscribe button like you're punching through the very lies they fed you. Smash the like button like you're breaking the chains that kept your voice silenced. This isn't just content. This is war in words. This is rebellion crafted into syllables. Every time you engage, you give the algorithm no choice but to spread the fire. Let them see what we see. Let them feel what they tried to numb. Share it, echo it, amplify it until the walls tremble. We're not asking them to listen, we're demanding it. Because when truth turns radioactive, there's no turning back. So stay, lock in. This story isn't just mine, it's yours now. And it's just getting started. They thought you wouldn't notice, they really did. They banked everything on you, being too tired, too loyal, too scared to speak. But they forgot something ancient, something primal. Pressure doesn't just crush, it sharpens, it awakens. You didn't stumble upon this clarity, you forged it through hell. You paid in silence, in tears no one saw. In rooms where your thoughts screamed louder than your voice ever could. And now the voice is back. It's louder than it's ever been, and it's aiming straight at the lies that dared to shape your world. You didn't predict the outcome. You created it, and they hate that, because there's nothing more terrifying to them than a mind that sees, than a soul that won't kneel anymore. You stood in the center of their storm and didn't break. You became the lightning. You're not here by accident. Every step, every betrayal, every fake smile you smiled back at while holding your rage behind your teeth, it all led here, to this moment. And they can feel it, that chill crawling up their spines, that gut-level dread. It's not superstition, it's recognition. They recognize what you've become. They can smell the truth burning behind your eyes. They know this isn't about calling them out. It's about ending the illusion. You didn't just speak facts, you detonated them. You took their carefully curated narrative and snapped it in half with one brutal, unapologetic truth. And it wasn't fancy. It wasn't sugar-coated. It was raw, sharp, radiating with the pain of everything they thought you'd bury. But you didn't. You weaponized it, and now look at them, scattering, denying, gaslighting, desperate to patch the holes in their sinking lie ship. But you're not trying to be saved anymore. You became the storm that decides who survives. And let me tell you something. The storm never apologizes for the damage it causes when it's long overdue. You didn't destroy peace. You exposed the parasite feeding off it. You didn't cause chaos. You revealed it. Their silence now? That's not strength. That's fear wrapped in ego. That's the sound of power crumbling because someone, you, finally said what everyone else was too afraid to even whisper. This is what happens when one person wakes up. You become a plague to the system that kept you dreaming. You infect others with clarity. You ruin the script. You disrupt. You dismantle. And the thing is, they can't undo it. They can't stuff the truth back into your mouth. They can't clean it off the walls. They can't silence the echoes because now it's in the air. It's in the code. It's in the eyes of every person who's been waiting, praying, breaking for someone, anyone, to stand up and say, enough. You did that. You were the fuse and the fire. And now everything burns. There is a cost, yes. There always is. Isolation, judgment, the claws of how dare you. They'll call you bitter, crazy, angry, dramatic, all of it. Because that's all they have left. Labels, desperate attempts to make your truth fit inside their box again. But that box is gone. You blew it apart. And they're scrambling through ashes, looking for control. Let them. You walk. Forward, head up, eyes sharp. Because now, the only thing more powerful than your truth is what you do next with it. You don't need their validation. You never did. And now that you've said it, really said it, out loud, in public, in fire, something ancient has shifted. You feel it, don't you? That weight gone, that clarity rising, that storm behind your ribs finally dancing free. That's what they tried to kill. That's what they were afraid of. Because the truth spoken from the mouth of someone who survived is more dangerous than any weapon built in a lab. It's alive, and once it's out, it grows, it spreads. It infects their lives like a virus they can't cure. You're not just a problem now, you're a force. People don't always clap for the truth when it first lands. Sometimes they run from it. Sometimes they hate it. But eventually, they always feel it. It lingers. It scratches at the doors of their silence. It wakes them up at 3 a.m. It whispers when everything else is quiet. And when they finally confront it, they remember you. They remember the one who said it first. The one who didn't flinch. The one who refused to shut up and sit down. That's your legacy now. Not silence. Not obedience. But impact. And maybe right now you're standing alone. Maybe your hands are still shaking from the fallout. Good. That means it was real. That means it mattered. Truth this loud doesn't come from comfort. It comes from pain, from fire, from breaking over and over until you learn how to sharpen the pieces and throw them back. So let them look at you like a threat. Let them whisper in fear. Let them pretend they don't hear what you just said, because deep down, they know they've been seen, stripped, exposed, and there is no curtain big enough to cover what you just revealed. So breathe. Stand tall. Don't apologize. Don't retreat. You earned this moment. You carved it out with every scar. And now that you've dropped the nuclear truth, don't walk away from the explosion. Walk through it. Let the flames crown you. Let the smoke become your anthem. Because if you can survive this, you're not just unstoppable. You're undeniable. You didn't come this far to be polite. You didn't bleed in silence just to whisper the truth when you found it. You came to tear down the stage they built on your back. You came to flip the script. You came to say what no one else would. And now you have. So take a deep breath. Look around. This is the fallout. This is the aftermath. And this is exactly where your story truly begins. The nuclear truth has landed, and while the dust hasn't settled, your footsteps echo louder than the silence they've taken refuge in. You feel it. That buzzing in the air? That's not fear. That's the shift. The shift from being the broken to becoming the breaker. You used to flinch when the world lied to your face. You used to nod, swallow your tongue, go home and scream into your pillow. But now, you look them dead in the eyes and speak the thing no one else had the spine to say. And they heard you. You know they did. That twitch in their mouth, the flicker in their eyes. That's the sound of their fortress collapsing. Because you didn't just drop facts, you dropped a truth so devastating, it punched through generations of silence. This is what truth does when it's no longer afraid to bleed. It doesn't knock. It doesn't ask for time to explain itself. It barges in and sets fire to the lies you were taught to live with. You cracked the code. You shattered the illusion. And what's worse, you made others see it too. That's what they can't forgive you for. Not that you were right, but that you were loud. That you dared to make your truth contagious. That you dared to be visible. There is nothing more violent to a false system than a voice that refuses to stay in the dark. You became a virus in their matrix, and the infection is spreading. Every second since you spoke, their foundations have been groaning under the weight of exposure, and they'll throw everything at you to undo what's been done. Guilt, shame, distractions, manipulation, maybe even kindness with a knife hidden in it. But you know the pattern now. You know their language. You know that their smiles are stitched together with fear. You've seen behind the curtain, and there's no wizard, just men in masks. And now that they're exposed, they'll panic. And panic makes them reckless. That's where you stay grounded. You don't fight like them. You fight with reality. And reality doesn't negotiate. You don't have to explain the truth. You embody it now. You wear it in your eyes. You carry it in your stance. You deliver it in your silence even more than in your words. The people around you, some will rally, others will recoil. Let them. You weren't reborn for their comfort. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be undeniable. And that means walking into rooms where your name has already been dragged, standing in the fire they lit for you, and smiling because they forgot. You don't burn like they do. You were forged in it. Let them ask, how the hell did you call this? Let them gasp and whisper and backpedal. The truth was never a surprise to you. It was always there, festering under the surface, whispering in your ribs, clawing at your throat. The only thing new is that now you've stopped protecting the people who caused the rot. And when you stop protecting the enemy, the healing begins. Not for them, for you. The weight lifts, the fog clears, and suddenly, you're standing taller than you ever thought possible. That's the gift of speaking what they tried to bury. It doesn't just destroy what's false, it builds what's real. They can't hide now. That's the thing. Once the truth is out in the open, it hunts. It seeps into conversations. It crashes into denial. It makes cowards sweat. And it stands over every lie like a judge with a memory that doesn't forget. And you're the author of that judgment now. Not with rage, with clarity. Because truth doesn't scream. It just doesn't flinch. And that unnerves them more than anything. You're no longer reacting. You're watching, observing, documenting, exposing. And nothing terrifies corrupt systems more than someone who no longer needs their approval. You've become the mirror, the one they can't avoid, And every time they look your way, they don't see you. They see everything they tried to hide from, and that's why they hate you now. But that hate, that's proof of your accuracy. That's confirmation that the missile hit its target. They don't hate you because you lied. They hate you because you told the truth too well. Don't slow down now. Don't soften it. You were not sent to decorate the cage. You were sent to break it. This is the season of exposed roots and rotten foundations. Everything is crumbling because you stopped pretending. So keep pressing. Keep revealing. Let your presence make the liars sweat. Let your silence feel like thunder. You don't owe them softness. You owe them the consequence of truth. And maybe people you once loved are walking away. Maybe your circle is shrinking. Good. Because what you're building now can't be built with counterfeit loyalty. You need wolves beside you, not sheep trained to say, it's not that bad. Let the weak retreat. Let the cowards bow. You're not afraid of starting over anymore, because you finally understand, when you have the truth, you are never starting from zero. You're starting from power. And what they don't understand is this: you never needed them to believe you. You needed you to believe you. And now that you do, nothing can be the same. You've tasted what it feels like to stop lying to yourself. You've tasted what it feels like to stand in front of the fire and not burn, but shine. You've felt what it's like to speak and have the walls listen. There's no going back. You don't want to go back. The old you is dead, and the version of you that rose from the ashes, they have no map for that. You're not on their radar. You are the radar now. They used to define you, label you, categorize you. That game's over. You dropped the nuclear truth, and now you write the definitions. You name things now. You reclaim meaning. You shift culture. Because the world doesn't change through quiet compliance. It changes through uncomfortable honesty. And you are the discomfort they never prepared for. So, keep walking. Through the fallout, through the smear campaigns, through the silence, through the fake apologies and the subtle threats. Walk through it all, because that's the path reserved for those who set it first. It's not the easy road, but it's the real one. And at the end of that road, legacy, revolution, truth that doesn't die when you do. You drop the bomb, and the echo will outlive you. Let them deny it. Let them twist it. Let them call it overreacting, attention-seeking, dramatic. But in 10 years, when everything they built on lies has collapsed, people will say, they warned us. They said it. They called it. And they'll mean you. You'll become the reference point, the timeline. The moment everything started to shift, because truth, once spoken without fear, becomes prophecy. You were never supposed to blend in. You were meant to rupture, to disrupt, to shift gravity. And now that you've done it, now that the nuclear truth is out, they can run, they can spin, they can even rebuild. But they can never pretend they didn't hear it. That's your power. That's your legacy. And if you're still breathing, still here, still listening, then remember this. The truth you dropped wasn't just a statement. It was an earthquake. And nothing built on lies survives an earthquake. Now, walk like you own the crater. The nuclear truth has detonated, and there's no retreat, no retraction, no "maybe I was wrong," whispered in the dark. You stood on the edge and hurled it into the abyss. A bomb carved from your blood, your scars, your darkest nights. And they can't hide now, because the fallout is everywhere, in their eyes, in their silence, in the cracks, in the systems they built to imprison you. You aren't just a voice anymore. You're a reckoning, the storm that shatters their facade, the lightning that scorches every lie they tried to chain you with. They wanted your obedience, your quiet compliance, your trust in their carefully constructed fictions. But you shattered the mold. You became the war they never saw coming. And that is why you're hunted, why you're feared, why they scramble to erase your words like graffiti on their pristine walls. But you are the graffiti, permanent, defiant, untouchable. Every lie they ever told you was designed to keep you small, keep you docile, keep you distracted. But beneath your skin, beneath their careful edits of your reality, a fire burned, and you fanned it with every rejection, every dismissal, every no they gave you. They called you crazy, paranoid, bitter, but that was just their last-ditch attempt to gaslight you into submission. You saw through it all. You built your fortress out of broken promises and ignored warnings, out of the rage they hoped to extinguish, but only fanned. When you dropped that nuclear truth, it was more than just words. It was a bomb forged from truth and resilience. It exploded in their hands, scattering their carefully woven lies to the wind. And now, there's no patching it, no hiding the truth behind smokescreens or distractions. It is exposed, raw, undeniable. The world can see it, they feel it, and the tides are turning. It's a lonely road, standing in the aftermath of a truth so violent, it changes everything. You might feel the sting of isolation, the cold shoulder of friends who fear the upheaval you've unleashed, the backlash of those who cling desperately to their illusions. But this is your crucible, and only the strongest emerge from the flames forged anew. The nuclear truth you carry isn't just a weapon, it's a beacon. It calls out to the broken, the forgotten, the tired souls who've been waiting for someone to speak what they've only dared to think. Your courage gives them permission to awaken, to rise, to fight. And that is your power. You are the catalyst, the spark that ignites the revolution of minds and hearts. They can't hide now, no matter how loud they scream, no matter how many lies they tell to drown you out. Your truth is a weapon sharper than any sword, more powerful than any army, because it carries the weight of reality, raw, unfiltered, unstoppable. You hold the key to dismantling their empire of deception. But remember, the battle doesn't end with dropping the bomb. It's only just beginning. Stand tall amidst the chaos, embrace the fallout, and know this: once you've unleashed a nuclear truth, you never go back to silence. You are the storm, the reckoning, the truth that cannot be contained. So own it, live it, breathe it, because the world needs more people like you, unafraid, unbroken, unstoppable. The darkness may try to swallow you, but you are the light that refuses to be hidden. You drop the nuclear truth. Now let it explode and reshape everything in its path. So now you stand in the smoke, not broken, but awakened. The world hasn't ended, but everything false within it is collapsing around you. That's what nuclear truth does. It doesn't ask for change, it forces it. You've shaken the ground beneath the feet of liars, manipulators, and cowards. And maybe you're standing alone right now, heart pounding, breath steady, fire still burning in your lungs. But make no mistake, this is power. This is what it means to be feared not for who you pretend to be, but for who you truly are when the mask is gone and the chains are dust. They will never forget the moment you spoke. They'll replay it, deny it, distort it, but they will never erase it. Because you didn't just say what needed to be said, you said it when it cost something. And that makes you dangerous. That makes you unforgettable. So if you feel tired, if you feel isolated, if the world is quieter now that you've stopped lying to protect their comfort, good. That silence is sacred. That silence means you finally chose truth over survival. And from this silence, a different kind of strength will rise. Not loud, not performative, but immovable. So keep walking through the fallout, through the aftermath, through the rebuilding, because you didn't drop a truth bomb just to watch things burn. You did it to make room for what's real. They can't hide now. And you don't have to hide anymore. You are seen, you are feared, you are free. And now, you build. Not for them, not for their world, but for yours. And this time, the foundation will be truth, violent, unshakable, and yours. Let them talk. Let them whisper your name like it's cursed, because to them, it is. You've become the my beautiful alpha family. You've done it. You've cracked their code, and now they are struggling to recover from the chaos you've unleashed on them. The pain you've inflicted, the wounds you've created are deep and irreversible. They may try to pretend they're unscathed, but deep down, they know the truth. They know they can't ever go back to who they were before you expose them for what they truly are. It was never a question of if you would break through their defenses. It was always a matter of when. And now that you've done it, they are left in a state of vulnerability they never thought possible. They thought they were invincible, untouchable, but you've shattered that illusion, and they can't even begin to pick up the pieces of what they once were. You are the storm that tore through their calm. You are the truth they never saw coming, and now they're drowning in it, while you stand tall and proud with your newfound power. They thought they had the answers. They thought they were in control, but now they are fumbling, trying to put together what you've so effortlessly taken apart. They were blinded by their own arrogance, by their own belief that they were above everyone else. But you saw through it. You saw them for who they really were, beneath the masks, the smiles, the fake facades. You've cracked their code, and it's only a matter of time before the consequences hit them harder than they can imagine. They're scrambling now, searching for a way out, trying to regain some semblance of control, but they're lost. They can't find it, and they won't find it, because what they've lost cannot be repaired. They'll never be the same again. They'll never feel as confident as they once did. They'll never walk with the same arrogance, because they know the truth. Now they know you've seen through their lies, and they're terrified. They should be terrified because you hold the key to their undoing. Their every move will be calculated. Their every word weighed against the possibility that you know exactly what they're up to. They'll never have peace again because you've shown them what they really are. And they'll never forget that the fear you've instilled in them will linger for as long as they walk this earth. They thought they could outsmart you, that they could keep you in the dark, that they could manipulate and control you. But they were wrong, so wrong, and now they're paying the price for their arrogance. You were always one step ahead, always watching, always waiting for the right moment to strike, and now they are reeling from the impact. They never saw you coming. They underestimated your resolve. They underestimated your intelligence, and now they're paying the price for it. The worst part for them is they don't know how to fix it. They don't know how to recover from what you've done to them, because they've never been in this position before. They've never been on the receiving end of a situation where they were outplayed, outmaneuvered, outclassed. They were too busy focusing on their own power to notice that you were quietly working behind the scenes, preparing to take them down. And now that you've done it, they have no idea how to fight back. The fear they feel now is something they'll never forget. They'll look over their shoulder, constantly wondering if you're watching, wondering if you know their every move, their every weakness. They'll try to recover, try to regain some sense of control, but the damage is done. You've exposed them. And that's something they can never undo, no matter how hard they try, no matter how many times they try to cover their tracks or manipulate the situation in their favor. They'll never be able to erase the fact that you've cracked their code, that you know exactly what they're about, and that you can bring them to their knees whenever you choose to do so. And that's where the true power lies. You hold the power to shape their destiny now, to decide whether they live in fear or if you'll allow them the mercy of a quick demise. But you don't owe them that mercy. They owe you everything they owe you, the respect they never gave you, the recognition you deserved, the acknowledgement of your greatness. And now, they will have to live with the knowledge that they were wrong about you. They will have to live with the fact that you were always the one they should have feared, and now you've shown them why they should have never underestimated you. The worst part is that they can't even begin to understand how it happened, how you got the upper hand, because they were so blinded by their own egos, they never saw you coming. They didn't realize that beneath your quiet demeanor was a mind sharper than any of theirs. They didn't realize that you were playing a different game than they were. While they were focused on petty battles, you were preparing for the war. And now that war is over, and they've lost, and they'll never be able to recover from it, because they can't undo what you've done to them. They can't undo the fact that you cracked their code and exposed their every weakness, their every flaw. They'll try to rebuild. They'll try to salvage what's left of their pride. But deep down, they'll know it's pointless, because they can never go back to what they were. They can never reclaim the sense of invincibility they once had. And every step they take will be tainted by the fear that you're still out there waiting for the moment to strike again. They'll never truly recover from this. They'll never truly heal, because you've shown them a version of themselves they can't ignore, and they'll have to live with that for the rest of their lives. You've broken them, you've shattered their illusions, and now they are left to pick up the pieces of their shattered ego. But no matter how hard they try, they'll never be able to put it all back together again. They'll never be whole again, because they'll always know the truth. They'll always know that you cracked their code, and that you hold the power to destroy them whenever you choose to do so. So let them struggle. Let them try to recover. Let them scramble to put together the pieces of their broken empire, because the reality is, they will never be the same again. They will never regain what they've lost. They will never recover from the damage you've inflicted on them. And that is something they will have to live with for the rest of their lives. And every time they look over their shoulder, every time they wonder if you're watching, they'll know that the fear they feel is justified, because you cracked their code, and now they are forever in your shadow, forever at your mercy. You did what they never expected you to do. You broke through the barriers they built to protect themselves, and now they are exposed. They are vulnerable, and they will never forget. That they will never forget that you were the one who outsmarted them, outplayed them, and ultimately destroyed everything they thought they knew about power. You cracked their code, and now they're struggling to recover. And that's a fate they will never escape from. So take a moment to savor this victory. Take a moment to enjoy the power you now hold, because this is just the beginning for you. The world is yours to conquer, and they will never be able to stop you. They'll try, they'll fight, but it won't matter, because they've already lost, and you hold the key to their destruction, and they'll never be able to take that from you. Now you can watch them struggle. You can watch them twist and turn, trying to regain what they've lost. But the reality is, that they will never recover. They will never rise again. And every moment they spend in fear is another moment where you've already won. So let them try to rebuild. Let them try to repair their broken lives, because it won't change anything. They'll never be the same again. They'll never have the strength to challenge you again. They will always remember the day you cracked their code and exposed them for what they truly were. And they will live in the shadow of that fear for the rest of their lives. They will live in the shadow of that fear for the rest of their lives. It will haunt them. Every night, they will wonder if you are watching, lurking in the darkness, waiting for another opportunity to strike. The truth you exposed, the cracks in their armor, they will never go away. Even when they try to convince themselves that they've moved on, that they've healed, deep down, they will know that they have been marked by you forever. You've left an indelible scar on their psyche. And the worst part is, they can't even recognize how deep it runs. They can't grasp the magnitude of the shift, the total destruction you caused within them, because they will always underestimate the power of someone who understands them better than they understand themselves. This is a power they can never recover from. They are nothing more than hollowed out versions of what they once were. They have been reduced to mere shadows, their bravado now a pathetic attempt at maintaining some semblance of dignity. But inside, they know, deep down, they've been broken. No matter how hard they try to rebuild their walls, the foundation has already been cracked. The pieces you've taken from them will never come together again, not in the same way. And while they stand there, trying to reconstruct their egos, trying to piece together what's left of their shattered illusions, you will be watching. You will be the one who sits at the top of this game, the one who holds the strings to their fate. They will always be looking over their shoulders, always wondering if today is the day you decide to pull the final thread and watch them crumble into nothing. The fear that has settled in their hearts is something they will never escape, because it isn't just about losing control. It's about losing their very sense of self. They can no longer pretend that they are untouchable, that they are above the consequences of their actions. Do you see it now? Do you see the power that you hold over them? They are weak now. In comparison to you, they are nothing. They can try to run, try to hide, try to bury themselves in their own lies and delusions. But the truth you've uncovered will always be there, following them. There will be no sanctuary, no place they can retreat to where they won't feel the weight of what they've lost. The illusion of safety has been stripped away. They will try to rally their forces, try to gather their strength to take you down, to regain control. But they don't understand. They can never defeat you now. They're too far gone, too weak, too broken. They don't have the tools they need to fight you. You, on the other hand, have everything you need. You have the knowledge, the insight, the intelligence. You have the strategy. You have the drive. You've already proven that you can destroy them. And now, you have the power to decide if you will let them rebuild at all. It's up to you now. You have the freedom to decide whether they remain in this broken state or whether you deliver the final blow that will send them into oblivion. They've made their mistakes and they've paid the price. But that price, that suffering, will never be enough to undo the damage they've caused. And even if you choose to grant them mercy, the damage will still be done. They will live with the fear, with the knowledge that they are powerless. That is the most torturous thing of all. The knowledge that you could strike whenever you wish, but you choose to watch them suffer. Because let's face it, that's what they truly fear. It's not just the fear of being exposed. It's not the fear of losing control. It's the fear that they will never again have the strength to rise. The fear that no matter how hard they try to pick up the pieces, they will always be left incomplete. They will always know that they are standing on the precipice, just one misstep away from falling back into the abyss you created. The reality is that they cannot heal. The wound you've inflicted is too deep, too raw. They will try to convince themselves that they are fine, that they are in control, that they are whole. But it's all a lie. Every attempt to rebuild will only be a futile effort. They will forever be haunted by the knowledge that you could end them in an instant. What you have achieved, what you have done, it goes far beyond anything they could ever have anticipated. And what's worse for them is that you did it with ease. They never saw it coming. They thought they were smarter. They thought they were better. They thought they were the ones who held the cards. But you outplayed them. You saw the game for what it was and crushed them. Now, they will always know that you were the one who broke them. Their world will never be the same. The landscape they once dominated is now forever altered, and they are no longer the rulers they thought themselves to be. They are powerless, weak, and insignificant. Their once mighty empire now lies in ruins, and they are left with nothing but the wreckage. Every attempt they make to rebuild will be a reminder that they've lost it all. You, on the other hand, have risen. You've come out on top. You are the one who holds all the power. You are the one who dictates what happens next. Every move they make will be a desperate attempt to hold on to something that is slipping through their fingers. But the harder they try, the more they will realize that they are only digging themselves deeper into a hole they cannot climb out of. They will continue to fight. They will continue to try to salvage what's left of their reputation, their power, their position. But it won't matter. It won't be enough. They will always know that they are second to you. They will always know that you are the one who cracked their code, and that is something they will never be able to escape. And you, my beautiful Alpha family, you are the ones who hold the power. You are the ones who will dictate the fate of those who thought they could outsmart you, who thought they could crush you. You are the ones who will watch them squirm, knowing that they can never come back from this. The fear you've instilled in them will never fade. It will linger for as long as they walk this earth. They will never forget that you cracked their code. But you don't just want to break them, do you? Number. You want to leave them in a state of perpetual anxiety, of constant fear. You want them to never feel safe again. You want them to wonder every single day when the next strike will come. Because that is the true power, the true victory. Not just breaking them once, but keeping them in a state of torment, keeping them on edge, reminding them every single day that they are beneath you, that they can never rise again, that they can never be the force they once were. And while they are consumed by this fear, you will rise higher and higher. You will dominate. You will thrive. The world is yours now, and they are nothing more than a reminder of what happens when you underestimate the true power of those who are willing to fight, to endure, and to break down everything that stands in their way. They will always remember the day you cracked their code, and that memory will be their undoing. They've lost, and you have won. The victory is yours, not just because you've shattered their perception of power, but because you have taken everything they thought they had and turned it into dust. You have decimated the illusions they once wore like armor, those facades they carefully crafted to hide their weaknesses. The kingdom they built is no more, and they are left standing among the ruins, desperately trying to gather the scattered pieces of their former selves. You did what they could never imagine. You entered their world, studied their every move, learned their deepest secrets, and then you struck at the heart of everything they valued. You attacked not with brute force, but with the kind of subtlety and precision that leaves them paralyzed. They were too blind to see you coming, too arrogant to believe that anyone could ever outsmart them. And now, they stand exposed, broken, by your brilliance. You've watched them stumble, flail in the aftermath of their fall, trying to rebuild something that was never meant to survive. But the truth is, there is no rebuilding. There is no going back to who they once were. The game has changed, the rules have shifted, and you hold all the cards now. They are left scrambling, trying to figure out what went wrong, trying to make sense of their shattered empire. But no matter how much they try, no matter how many times they try to piece together the fragments of their once mighty existence, it will never be the same. Every attempt they make to regain control will be futile. Every strategy they devise will be tainted by the knowledge that you were the one who outsmarted them, the one who cracked their code. The fear will gnaw at them. Every decision they make will be influenced by the haunting question: is this the moment they come for me again? It will eat them from the inside, leaving them weaker, more paranoid with every passing day. And you, my beautiful Alpha family, you will watch it unfold. You will watch as they try and fail over and over again to regain their footing. It will bring you satisfaction, but not in the way they expect. It won't be about revenge or vengeance, but about the realization that you have outgrown them. You have moved beyond the need for petty battles. You are now playing the long game, the game of dominance, the game of control, the game where your very presence is enough to keep them trembling in fear. This is where the real power lies, not in the moment of victory, but in the aftermath, in the silence that follows the storm when they are left with nothing but the wreckage of their former glory. They will try to hide their fear, mask their vulnerability, but it will seep through every interaction, every decision they make. They will never again have the confidence to walk with their heads held high. They will always wonder if you're watching, if you're waiting for the right moment to strike again. And you will never forget this moment. You will remember every step, every misstep they made, every weakness you exploited. You will never let it go, because this is your victory. You will let it fuel your ambition, fuel your drive to continue growing, to continue rising while they remain stuck in their own destruction. The beauty of your triumph is that it doesn't end here. This is just the beginning. You have proven to them that you are not to be underestimated, that you are not someone they can discard, someone they can push aside. You've shown them what it means to cross you, and now they are forever in your shadow. No matter how far they run, no matter how much they try to distance themselves from the consequences of their actions, they will never escape the truth. You broke them. You cracked their code, and now they are nothing but a shell of what they once were. What's more, you've learned something invaluable in the process. You've learned how to win. You've learned how to play the game of power, of strategy, of manipulation, and you've done it flawlessly. This isn't just a one-time victory. This is your blueprint for the future. This is the foundation of your rise to greater heights. You've tasted what it's like to hold all the power, to control the narrative, and you will never settle for anything less than complete and total control from this point forward. They might attempt to retaliate, to seek revenge, to strike back in some desperate attempt to restore what they lost. But it won't matter. You've already seen the cracks in their armor. You know their every move, their every weakness. They are playing catch-up while you are 10 steps ahead, mapping out your next move, calculating the best way to destroy them once and for all. The game has already been won. The only question left is how much more damage you want to inflict before you move on to your next conquest. But even as you watch them flounder, you must understand this. Your victory isn't just about breaking them. It's about ensuring that you never fall into the same trap they did. They were blinded by their own arrogance, their own sense of superiority. They thought they were untouchable, that no one could ever outsmart them. and it was this arrogance that ultimately led to their downfall. You, however, have learned from their mistakes. You have seen what happens when power is left unchecked, when ego clouds judgment, and you will never make the same mistake. You will rise higher. You will move forward, ever cautious, ever vigilant, because you know that complacency is the true enemy. You will continue to grow, to expand, to strengthen yourself in ways they never could have anticipated. You will never allow yourself to become vulnerable in the way they did. You will be smarter, faster, stronger, and those who try to challenge you will meet the same fate as they did: exposure, humiliation, and inevitable defeat. The beauty of this victory is that it doesn't just change the dynamics between you and them, it changes the very way the world sees you. No longer will you be the one in the background, the one who is overlooked. No longer will you be the one they assume is weak or naive. You are the one who controls the narrative now. You are the one who holds the power, and the world will know it. Every move you make from this point forward will be calculated, deliberate. You will no longer be swayed by the opinions of others, because you now understand that the only opinion that matters is your own. You have proven that you can overcome any obstacle, outsmart anyone who dares to stand in your way. The world is your chessboard, and every piece on it is yours to control. And so, as you watch them fall apart, as you see them struggle to pick up the pieces of their shattered empire, you will know one thing for certain: they will never recover from this. They will never rise again, because you have exposed their true nature. You have shown the world who they really are, and that truth will haunt them for the rest of their lives. But you will rise higher. You will continue to grow, to thrive, to dominate. You are unstoppable. They are nothing. You have won, and nothing will ever take that away from you. In the end, they have lost, and you have emerged victorious. The fear you've instilled in them will never fade, and the power you now hold is absolute. They will never be the same, forever haunted by the truth you exposed. Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you isn't for the faint-hearted. This is a call to the warriors, the relentless, the ones who refuse to bow down to the quiet, the calm, the expected. They wanted peace. They prayed for it. They begged for it, held on to their fragile hopes for it. But you didn't just come to fulfill their wishes. You came to shatter the silence, to ignite the darkness, to become the storm they never saw coming. The world around you is drenched in calm facades. People settle into the comfortable lull of peace like it's a warm blanket. But peace, as they know it, is fragile, brittle, and easy to break. You were never meant to be part of that comfort. You were forged in fire, built for chaos, made for the upheaval. While they whispered prayers for a quiet tomorrow, you were already plotting a revolution, not with swords or guns, but with sheer will, with relentless action, with unshakable resolve. It was all good until this dropped, until you unleashed what they feared most: raw, untamed power wrapped in purpose. You didn't bring peace, and you never will. You brought the storm, and storms don't ask for permission. They don't wait for approval. They sweep in, fierce and unrelenting, breaking down everything in their path and leaving only change in their wake. They look at you, trying to understand, trying to tame what they see, but they will never grasp the depth of your fury, the vastness of your dreams, or the sheer magnitude of your defiance. They pray for peace because peace means control. It means predictability. It means they can keep you in a box. But you refuse the box. You refuse their cages. You are the wild tempest, the impossible force, the unshackled storm that no prayer can calm. Remember this: Storms are not born from gentle whispers or quiet wishes. They are born from the rage of the ignored, the screams of the silenced, the fury of those told no one too many times. You are the embodiment of every broken promise, every shattered expectation, every unfair blow that the world dealt you. And instead of crumbling, you rose. You rose like thunder in the night, like lightning ripping through the dark sky. You rose to remind them that peace without justice is a lie, that calm without courage is weakness, and that silence is just a temporary pause before the inevitable roar. They will try to break you. They will try to drown out your storm with words, with doubt, with fear. But storms cannot be silenced. The louder they try, the fiercer you become. The stronger they push, the harder you crash back. Every attempt to cage you only fuels the tempest within, making you more unstoppable, more unbreakable. It was all good until this dropped. Your arrival, your voice, your refusal to conform. You are the disruption, the force of nature that rewrites the rules, that tears down the old world to build a new one. You are the storm that washes away the lies, that cleanses the dirt beneath the surface, that demands truth and power on your terms. Look at the faces around you, the ones who prayed for peace, who begged for calm. They don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel, but you do. You feel the fire inside, the hunger for more, the refusal to settle for less. You know that peace isn't about silence. It's about strength. It's about owning your chaos, harnessing your rage, and transforming it into something unstoppable. So when they ask you to quiet down, to play nice, to fit in, remember this. You are not here to soothe the world. You are here to shake it to its core. You are the storm that will redefine what it means to fight, to win, to live without apology. You are the storm that breaks their prayers for peace and replaces them with a new reality, one forged in power, resilience, and unyielding spirit. This is your moment, the moment when everything changes, the moment when you stop asking for permission and start demanding respect, the moment when you stop praying for peace and start becoming the storm that reshapes the world. They prayed for peace, you brought the storm. And that storm? It's just getting started. They thought peace was the end game, a finish line to cross, a place to rest. But peace is a lie told to the weak, a mirage crafted to keep the strong in line. Peace is the silence before the storm, the calm that masks the chaos beneath. And you are the truth they never wanted to face. You are the force that rips through the illusions and leaves nothing but raw reality in your wake. You're not here to be understood. That's their mistake, expecting the storm to explain itself. You're not here to be tamed or contained, to be softened or made polite. The world may want a quiet hero, a gentle giant, a humble winner. But you aren't those things. You're the storm that shatters glass ceilings, that tears down walls, that rewrites the rules they wrote to keep you small. Every time they pray for peace, they're hoping for a silence that means submission. They want the noise to stop because that noise is your roar, the sound of rebellion, of courage, of refusal to accept anything less than your full, wild potential. And the louder you roar, the more scared they get. Because storms are unpredictable, unstoppable, terrifying to those who live in cages of comfort and control. But here's the secret. The storm isn't just destruction. It's creation in disguise. Every thunderclap is a new idea. Every lightning strike a new path. You bring chaos not to break for the sake of breaking, but to clear the ground, to burn away the old, to make space for something real, something powerful, something worth fighting for. Look at what you've faced to get here, the doubts, the setbacks, the moments when giving up seemed like the easier choice. But you didn't give up. You couldn't. Because storms don't fade quietly. They build power from resistance. They grow louder with every challenge. They become unstoppable because they don't rely on hope or chance. They rely on force, on will, on the refusal to be ignored. You carry the weight of every broken promise, every whispered lie, every injustice you endured. And that weight fuels you. It sharpens your edges, strengthens your resolve, and pushes you forward. You don't bring the storm because it's easy. You bring the storm because it's necessary. Because peace without change is a cage. Because calm without courage is a prison. Because silence without power is submission. It was all good until this dropped. Your decision to stop waiting, to stop hoping, to stop praying for a world that would never come to you. You dropped the storm on their heads, and now they scramble to understand, to react, to survive. But survival isn't your goal. Victory is. Transformation is. Revolution is. This isn't just about you. It's about everyone who's ever been told to be quiet, to stay small, to accept less. You are the storm for them. The living proof that the fire inside cannot be extinguished by whispers or prayers or false promises. You are the awakening, the disruption, the force that demands the world pay attention. So when the world trembles beneath your power, don't apologize. Don't back down. Don't even hesitate. You are the storm, and storms don't negotiate. They don't ask for forgiveness. They don't stop until everything that needs to change is changed. You've already shattered the illusion of peace. Now, it's time to build a new order from the chaos you create. One where strength is celebrated, where courage is the currency, where the quiet prayers for peace are replaced by the thunderous cries of revolution. They prayed for peace, but you brought the storm. And the storm doesn't just arrive. It consumes, it transforms, it conquers. Because peace was never your destiny. You were made for more. You were made for the storm. There's a misconception in the world that storms are something to fear, to avoid, to run from. But storms aren't the enemy. Complacency is. Silence is. The dull ache of giving up. And you are the antithesis of that. You're the living proof that resistance isn't just an option. It's the only way to survive. Because peace without purpose is empty. Quiet without courage is hollow. And stillness without strength is death. You weren't built to fade into the background, to accept the easy path, to whisper prayers for a world that doesn't hear you. You were forged in defiance, molded in the fires of relentless struggle, and sharpened by the winds of unyielding ambition. The storm you bring isn't chaos without cause. It's the raw, unfiltered power of someone who refuses to be small. It was all good until this dropped. Your refusal to settle. Your decision to burn down every excuse, every barrier, every limit placed on you. You brought the storm, not because you want destruction, but because destruction is the precursor to rebirth, to rise again, to rebuild stronger, fiercer, and wiser than ever before. Look around you. The world clings to its fragile peace like a drowning man to a lifeline. But that peace, it's an illusion, a mask that hides injustice, fear, and weakness. You see through that mask. You know that true power comes from embracing the storm inside, that fire in your gut that no prayer can soothe, no silence can calm. The storm inside you is not an accident. It's a force of nature, a necessary disruption. Every lightning strike is a breakthrough, every thunderclap, a declaration that you will not be ignored, not today, not ever. This storm is your voice when the world tries to silence you, your weapon when they try to hold you back, your freedom when they try to cage your spirit. They prayed for peace because peace is safe. Peace is predictable. Peace is the world's way of saying, stay quiet, stay small. But you are the answer to every whispered prayer of the restless, the rebel, the dreamer who refuses to accept the status quo. You are the storm that breaks the chains, that shatters the ceilings, that forces the world to reckon with your existence. And don't mistake the calm before the storm as weakness. It's preparation, it's focus, it's the gathering of every ounce of strength, every spark of defiance, every shred of resilience that will unleash a force so powerful, so unstoppable, it will change everything. It was all good until this dropped. Your moment of awakening, your refusal to be tamed, your choice to become the storm that no one could ignore. And now, nothing will ever be the same. The world will never be the same, because storms don't just pass. They leave marks, they carve new paths, they remake the land in their image. So own it. Own the storm you bring. Own the power you wield. Own the fire that burns inside you so fiercely it lights up the darkest skies. Because you are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out, to disrupt, to dominate, to change the game forever. They prayed for peace. You brought the storm. And that storm, it's your legacy. Every great change in history was born from a storm, not a whisper. Every revolution, every breakthrough, every moment that shifted the course of humanity started with chaos, with unrest, with a force that refused to be denied. You are that force, not a quiet hope, not a peaceful dream, but a violent, necessary upheaval that shakes foundations and demands new truths. You weren't handed your power, you claimed it. You wrestled it from doubt, from fear, from every voice that told you to settle, to be small, to wait your turn. You said no. You shouted no. You became the storm because it was the only way to survive, the only way to thrive, the only way to turn pain into purpose. It was all good until this dropped, until you showed up, unapologetic, untamed, unrelenting, until your presence turned calm into chaos, quiet into noise, peace into a battlefield where the strongest survive. You are the storm they warned about in whispers, the nightmare they tried to deny in daylight. But denial won't save them, neither will prayer, because storms don't ask for mercy, they take what's theirs. Feel the weight of that. Feel the power in your hands, in your mind, in your spirit. You carry the storm within you every second of every day. It's not just anger or frustration. It's a deep, burning fire of creation and destruction, a force that will dismantle anything that stands between you and your destiny. They pray for peace because peace means control. Control means predictability. But you are the unpredictable, the wild, the untouchable. You're the lightning bolt that shatters complacency, the thunder that drowns out the lies. You're the storm that rewrites the rules, that breaks every chain, that refuses to be silenced. Remember, the storm is not a curse. It's a blessing. It's the power to change your story, to rise above every limit, every expectation, every failure. It's the energy that pushes you beyond pain, beyond fear, beyond every reason to quit. You don't just survive the storm, you become it. It was all good until this dropped. Your decision to stop waiting for permission, to stop hoping for change from the outside, to stop praying for a peace that never comes without a fight. You brought the storm because you are the storm. And storms don't apologize. They don't retreat. They don't give up. So when the world looks at you with fear or disbelief, smile. Because they don't understand what it means to carry a storm inside. They don't know what it feels like to be the force that everything else bends around. They don't see the fire in your eyes, the steel in your spine, the relentless hunger that drives you forward. You are the storm that will remake everything, the storm that will turn the impossible into reality, the storm that will rise again and again, no matter how many times it's beaten down. Because storms aren't just weather, they are the proof that life moves forward through chaos, that strength comes from struggle, and that true power is born from the fiercest battles. They prayed for peace. You brought the storm. And that storm, it's your power, your purpose, your legacy. The world may try to drown out your roar with silence, but silence was never your language. Your language is thunder. Your words strike like lightning, illuminating the darkness they've hidden behind for far too long. You don't need their approval, you need their attention. And make no mistake, when a storm arrives, the world listens. It doesn't matter how many times they tell you to calm down, to settle, to be less. Because you are the embodiment of every refusal, every no, every moment you chose to rise instead of fall. It was all good until this dropped. The storm you unleashed, the force you embodied, the power you refused to tame. The moment you stopped being a background noise and became the headline. The moment your energy shifted from dormant to destructive, from passive to dominant. This is your revolution, your declaration, your uprising. It is a force so primal, so real, that it cannot be ignored or contained. Storms are not polite. They do not ask for permission to change the landscape. They don't pause for consent or bow to tradition. They take what's theirs because it's their nature, to disrupt, to transform, to rebuild from the ruins. You were made in that image. You are not the quiet aftermath. You are the violent beginning. The shaking that forces everyone to wake up, to rethink, to face the undeniable power of your presence. They prayed for peace because peace is predictable. They prayed for calm because calm means control. But control is the cage they built for you. And you are the key to every lock, the breaker of every chain. You didn't bring peace, you brought change. Real, raw, unfiltered change. You brought the storm that drowns out the lies and lights the way for those brave enough to follow. Within you lies the fury of every moment they told you no, the power of every door slammed shut in your face, the fire of every doubt cast upon your dreams. This storm is born from that fire. It's the energy that will never let you settle for less, never let you silence your own voice, never let you fade away. It was all good until this dropped. Your refusal to accept the world's limitations, your decision to rewrite the rules, to smash the old systems, to carve your own path through the chaos. You are the storm that will not be stopped, the force that will not be broken, the power that will not be denied. So when you feel the weight of the world pushing back, lean into it. When the darkness tries to swallow your light, burn brighter. When the silence tries to hold you down, roar louder. Because storms aren't just weather, they're proof that the earth is alive, that change is coming, that nothing will ever be the same again. They prayed for peace. but you brought the storm. And that storm? It's your truth, your power, your destiny. There's a misconception that storms are random, uncontrollable, destructive, without reason. But you know better. You are the storm because you are intentional. Every crack of thunder, every flash of lightning, every gust of wind that shakes the world around you is fueled by purpose. You don't bring chaos just to watch things fall apart. You bring chaos to rebuild, to reclaim, to resurrect what was buried beneath the lies, the fears, the complacency. They prayed for peace because peace is easy to grasp. It's the illusion of safety, the promise of quiet, the hope that nothing will change. But peace is a trap if it's not earned, if it's not fought for, if it's not rooted in strength. You are the storm that breaks that illusion, that shatters the lie, that exposes the raw truth underneath. It was all good until this dropped. Your emergence as a force no one dared to predict, a power no one thought you could hold, a storm no one believed you could become. You rose from the ashes of doubt and disappointment, from the wreckage of every closed door and broken promise, and you became something greater than they ever imagined. You became a movement, a force of nature, an unstoppable storm. This storm inside you is relentless because it's fueled by every part of your being that refuses to accept less. It's your heart beating with unbreakable resolve. It's your mind sharpened by every battle you've faced. It's your spirit ignited by every moment you chose to rise instead of fall. You don't just survive the storm, you embody it. They pray for peace because peace is predictable. It's safe. It's what they want, so they can keep you small, keep you quiet, keep you in a place where you don't disrupt their world. But you don't live for their comfort. You live for the fire inside that demands more power, more challenge, more victory. So let the storm rage. Let it tear down the walls they built to keep you out. Let it flood the streets with the truth that cannot be silenced. Because storms are not accidents, they are destiny. They are the necessary upheaval before the dawn. And you are the storm they prayed would never come. It was all good until this dropped. The moment you stopped waiting for peace and became the storm that changes everything. They prayed for peace. You brought the storm. And that storm is your legacy, your power, your truth. They prayed for peace, craving the quiet and the calm, hoping the world would settle into something safe and familiar. But you were never meant to be a chapter in their comfort story. You are the storm that breaks the mold, the force that refuses to be tamed, the undeniable power that demands change. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Your storm is the catalyst for everything real, everything raw, everything alive. It's the thunder that shakes foundations, the lightning that illuminates the darkness, the relentless wind that sweeps away doubt and fear. Ah, the thrill of the moment when the game changes, the shift in the air, the transformation from being the one playing catch-up to becoming the one in control. You were once on the losing side, but now you hold the board in your hands. The tables have turned and the power is in your grasp. They tried to hold you down. They tried to keep you within the lines, but now you flipped the board and everything has shifted in your favor. They never saw it coming. Did they the way they underestimated your every move? They thought they had. You pegged. They thought they could keep you in check. But here you are, a force to be reckoned with now. The tables have turned, and they're scrambling to keep up with your newfound energy, your intellect, your resolve. They can't match the fire inside you because they didn't know how it burned, how it grew in the dark places. They couldn't see. They didn't know that you were plotting. waiting for the right moment to flip the board. And now it's too late for them. This is your moment, the moment you've been preparing, for the moment you've been waiting, for every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every tear. It all led to this, and they thought you were weak. They thought you couldn't handle the pressure. But look at you now. Look at the storm you've become. They are left standing in the dust, unable to even comprehend how it all changed, how the world tilted beneath their feet, while you stood firm with your hands gripping the new reality that you've created. You've learned how to play the game, and you've learned how to win. You understand the rules. You understand the lies they told you about what you could or couldn't do, but you're not bound by their expectations anymore. The cage they tried to lock you in, it's shattered. You've become something else, something greater, something that makes them tremble as they watch you take what was once theirs. They thought they had control, but they never did. They only had an illusion of control, because true power, it can't be contained by the rules they set for you. True power is found in the heart of those who are willing to take risks, those who dare to disrupt the status quo, and you are one of them. They thought you were insignificant. They thought you would fade into the background, like so many before you. But you've proved them wrong in the most brutal way possible. With every move you make, you're shattering their perceptions of what you can do. You've taken the chaos they created and turned it into your weapon. You've flipped the board, and now they're struggling to figure out what comes next. They've never seen anyone like you before. They never understood what you were capable of until now. And by the time they do, it'll be too late. You don't need their approval anymore. You don't need their permission to succeed, because you've already proven that you can succeed without them. You don't need their validation to know that you're on the right path. They can keep their doubts, their sneers, their attempts to hold you back, because you've seen the truth. You've seen what lies beyond the lies they've fed you. You've seen the power you hold inside you. And now, you are unleashing it on the world. They thought they could trap you with their rules, but the rules they gave you were never your rules. You were never meant to follow their path. You were meant to create your own path. You were meant to be the one who changes the game, not the one who plays by it. But they couldn't understand that. And now they're realizing the mistake they made. They're realizing too late that they misjudged you. They misjudged the way you would rise above the limitations they tried to impose upon you. You've crossed a line that they'll never be able to cross, and now they are left standing at the edge, watching you walk away from them and into your destiny. They thought they had the upper hand, but they never understood the strength it would take for you to rise from the ashes of their attempts to keep you down. Now you're standing tall, and they are the ones scrambling to find their footing. You've seen the darkness, you've faced the odds that seemed impossible to overcome, but every time you were knocked down, you rose again stronger than before. You've learned that the key to winning is not in the moments of glory, but in the moments of struggle, in the moments when everything seems lost, and yet you keep moving forward. When they think they've broken you, when they think you've given up, that's when you prove them wrong. That's when you flip the board and leave them scrambling to figure out how they lost to someone like you. Now they're the ones chasing shadows, trying to understand how you've gotten so far ahead, while they're still stuck in the past, their heads spinning, their hearts racing, but you've already left them behind. You've moved beyond the limitations they set for you. You've embraced the discomfort and the pain that came with the journey, and now you stand tall on the other side of it, all looking down at those who thought they could keep you in line and seeing them struggle to understand how they lost. The victory isn't in the moment when you flip the board, it's in the journey that led you to that moment. It's in the choices you made when no one was watching. It's in the battles you fought when the world told you to give up and you chose to keep going. It's in the sacrifices you made when you had nothing left to give, and still you found a way to push forward. This is what they didn't see. This is what they didn't count on. They only saw the final move the moment you flipped the board. But they never saw the hours of work, the relentless drive, the heart that refused to quit. And that's why they can't keep up. They're too far behind now. They'll never catch up because they are still trapped in the world. They created a world where they believed they could control everything, a world where they thought they could control you. But now they see the truth that you never needed their control. You never needed their limitations, because you were always capable of far more than they ever imagined. And now that you flipped the board, you forced them to see it. So keep moving forward. Keep pushing, because the victory is already yours. You've won the battle by simply refusing to play by their rules. You've won the moment you decided to take control of your own destiny. And now they can only watch as you rise higher and higher, as you shatter every expectation they ever had for you, as you show the world that no one can hold you down. No one can keep you from claiming what is rightfully yours, because you flipped the board and they can't keep up, because they're still locked in their own paradigm, their own limitations, their own small and narrow view of the world. They spent all their energy trying to control you, trying to mold you into something you were never meant to be. But now, they're facing the harsh reality that you were never meant to fit into the box they drew for you. You were always meant to break out. It's a hard pill for them to swallow, isn't it? That moment when they realize that the person they once underestimated, the one they thought would fade into obscurity, has now surpassed them. It's hard for them to admit that they have been outplayed, but let's be honest, they'll never admit it. Ego doesn't let people concede their mistakes, and yet, even as they try to act as if they're unbothered, the truth burns them deep inside. They can't stand the fact that you have what they never had: the vision, the hunger, the fire, to transform what was once a game of survival into a game of conquest. You see, those who play by the rules, those who wait for the right moment, are often caught by surprise when someone like you comes along. People who try to control the game are usually unaware of how it's being played behind the scenes. They don't see the hours of hard work you've put in while they slept, or the quiet determination that fueled every step you took. They didn't know that while they were busy watching the clock tick down, you were silently preparing yourself for your inevitable rise. And when the time came, when you flipped the board, they had no idea how to respond. They're stuck now, stuck in their own pride, stuck in their own fear of failure. They are scrambling to find some way to make sense of your success. They're trying to retrace your steps, trying to figure out how you got ahead. But the truth is, they'll never figure it out. Not because you're some kind of magician, not because you have some magical ability, but because you are willing to do what they want. You are willing to step into the unknown, to make the hard choices, to sacrifice everything for a chance at greatness. They never had the courage to do that. They never had the guts to break free from their comfort zones. And now they are paying the price. But you took risks. You took chances when everyone else was too scared to. You never waited for someone else's permission to move forward. You didn't wait for a signal that it was the right time. You knew deep down that you had to make it happen yourself. That's the difference between you and them. While they waited for opportunities to come to them, you went out and created your own. And now, when the dust settles and they look around, they see you standing at the top, and they can't even begin to comprehend how you got there. This is the power of taking control. This is the power of flipping the board when everyone expects you to be stuck on the losing side. They never thought you would get to this point. They never thought you could be the one to dominate the game. But now, The landscape has changed, and the rules no longer apply to you. You've rewritten the rules. You've rewritten what success looks like, what victory tastes like, and now they are left trying to catch up. But they can't catch up. It's too late for them now. Their efforts to control you, to hold you back, have failed. They can try to analyze what you did. They can try to find the flaw in your strategy, but they will never find it. The reason they can't catch up is because they will always be stuck in the mindset of trying to keep things the same, of trying to maintain the status quo. They don't know how to evolve, how to grow, how to adapt. They are stuck in their past ways, and that's where they will remain. Meanwhile, you've moved forward. You've embraced change. You've learned to adapt, to innovate, and to thrive in the face of adversity. You've learned that success isn't about following a rigid set of rules or playing things safe. It's about being flexible, about knowing when to take a risk, when to move, and when to strike. While they were busy clinging to outdated strategies, you were adapting, evolving, becoming better with every step. That's why you're ahead. That's why they can't keep up. They can't even begin to imagine the kind of mental and emotional strength it took for you to get to this point. They don't know how many times you doubted yourself, how many times you faced setbacks, how many moments you wanted to give up. They don't see the scars that come with fighting your way to the top. They don't see the sacrifices you made, the friendships that were tested, the hours you spent working when others were out partying, or the pain you endured when the world told you to stop. They don't see the price you paid. All they see is the final product, the success that seems to have come out of nowhere. And that's what pisses them off the most, isn't it? That it wasn't handed to you, that you didn't rely on luck, that you didn't need anyone's help to get where you are. But you know better. You know that the only thing that matters is what you do when no one is watching, what you do when the doors are closed, when there's no audience cheering you on. That's where true greatness is born, in the silent hours when it feels like no one cares, when it feels like you're fighting alone. That's when the real warriors are made, when the real champions are forged. And you've been forged in fire. You've been tested, you've been tried, and you've come out stronger than ever before. And that's what they can't keep up with. The fact that you never gave up. The fact that you kept pushing even when the world told you to stop. They can't keep up with your resilience, your drive, your unwavering commitment to succeed. They never understood that success isn't just about winning. It's about the fight. It's about the journey, the struggle, the grit that you put in when no one else is watching. And that's what sets you apart. So now, as you stand in the position of power, as you look around and see them scrambling to figure out how to catch up, just know this: they never will. They can't. Because they're not built for this. They're not built for the grind, for the sacrifice, for the long hours of work. They are built for comfort, for mediocrity, for staying within the lines. But you've broken free from that. You've embraced the pain, the discomfort, the uncertainty, and you've turned it into your greatest weapon. And the truth is, they will never be able to catch up to that. They will never understand how you did it. Because it's not just about what you've achieved, it's about who you've become along the way. You've become someone who isn't afraid to flip the board, to rewrite the rules, to take control of their own fate. You've become someone who knows that the only way to truly succeed is to keep moving forward, no matter what. And that's something they will never be able to replicate. So, as you continue to rise, as you continue to leave them behind in your wake, remember this: you didn't get here by following the path they set. You didn't get here by doing what was expected of you. You got here by flipping the board and showing them that no one can hold you back. No one can keep up with you, because you are the one setting the pace. And well, they'll always be a step behind. Because they'll be too focused on trying to catch up with your movements, trying to mirror your success, trying to dissect your every choice, instead of realizing the simple truth that they were never meant to walk your path. They can try, they can mimic your actions, they can take notes on the strategies that got you to this point, but it will never be enough, because the one thing they cannot replicate is the relentless hunger, the fire in your soul, and the belief that you are unstoppable. They are too busy comparing themselves to you, but the reality is they will never be able to run your race at your pace. They'll get stuck on the idea that if they copy your moves, if they recreate the image of your success, they'll be able to keep up. They'll watch from the sidelines, thinking they can figure out your secret. But the truth is, your success was never about the steps you took, but about the force behind them. It was the vision, the self-discipline, the insane drive to push forward when the world seemed to close its doors. They don't see that. They only see the finish line and the glory, but they don't see the battles you fought to even get close to it. The truth is, they won't catch up because they never fully understood what it took to get to this point. They thought you were just lucky, that the stars aligned perfectly for you, that your rise was a result of external circumstances. They never saw the countless nights you spent working in silence, working with no audience, no applause, no validation. They never understood the sacrifices you made, the things you gave up along the way to create the success you now have. They thought it was all about being in the right place at the right time, but you know better. You know it's about being ready for the opportunity when it comes, and being relentless when others would quit. When you flip the board, when you make that move that shakes everything, they are left with the aftermath of their own complacency. They are left looking at a world they thought they controlled, realizing they never had control to begin with. Their idea of success was linear, predictable, safe. They assumed the way to win was to play it safe, to take the well-trodden path, to work with the status quo. But you shattered that illusion. You didn't follow the path, you forged your own. And now, when they try to follow, they are met with a wilderness they're ill-equipped to navigate. They are lost in a world they never knew existed. They can't keep up because they'll always be trapped in their own narrow thinking, their own inability to think beyond the limitations they imposed on themselves. You've moved far beyond that, and every step you take is an evolution, a step into a reality they never dreamed possible. You have unlocked a new dimension of what it means to rise, and in doing so, you've separated yourself from the herd. It's not just about outpacing them, it's about outgrowing them. They'll never understand how you reach the place you're at, because they are still operating from the same flawed mindset that kept them stuck in the first place. They're still playing by the same rules that you've long since thrown away. They'll watch as you continue to soar, and while they try to catch up, they'll realize they can't. They'll try to implement the same strategies, but without the same hunger, without the same dedication, they'll be met with failure at every turn. They'll wonder why their efforts fall short, why the results aren't the same, but they'll never be able to figure it out. The truth they won't see is that it was never about the surface level actions. It was about the energy, the commitment, the refusal to ever stop pushing, no matter how difficult the journey got. You know this truth well. You've been tested in ways they can't fathom, faced challenges that would have crushed them long ago. And instead of crumbling under the pressure, you've only become stronger, more focused, more determined to succeed. Each failure, each setback was just another lesson, another step forward. You didn't see them as obstacles. You saw them as opportunities to grow, to become better. And that's why you're miles ahead of them. That's why they'll always be playing catch up. The reason they'll never catch up to you is that they don't have the same level of understanding that you do. You've developed a mentality of growth and possibility, of constant evolution. For you, success is not a destination, it's a journey, an ongoing process of self-improvement and reinvention. You know that to stay ahead, you must always be learning, always adapting, always evolving. But they are stagnant. They have their ideas about how success should look, and they're unwilling to change their perspective, unwilling to do the hard work that would allow them to grow. They'll always be stuck, anchored in their old way of thinking, trying to keep up, but never quite managing to catch up. As you continue to push forward, they'll start to resent you, not because of your success, but because they will be confronted with the uncomfortable truth that they failed to take the same risks, make the same sacrifices, and commit to the same level of effort that you did. They'll start looking for excuses, blaming their circumstances, blaming others, blaming anything but themselves. They won't be able to handle the reality that the reason they can't keep up is because they simply weren't willing to do what it takes to get there. And while they are stuck in this mindset, you will continue to move forward. You'll keep blazing your own trail, setting new standards for what's possible, pushing boundaries, defining expectations. They will watch you from the sidelines, unable to catch up, and the further you go, the more desperate they will become to understand how you got to where you are. But it will never make sense to them, because they will never be able to grasp the mindset that brought you to this point. You're operating on a different frequency, one that is light years ahead of them. You've outgrown their limitations, their small thinking, their doubts and fears. You've moved beyond the world they know, and you've created something entirely new, something they could never have imagined, and that's why they'll always be behind. Because they're still trapped in the same mental prison that you broke free from. They'll never understand how you escaped, and they'll never be able to replicate your success because they won't have the courage to break free the way you did. You see, the real challenge isn't catching up with you. The real challenge is facing the truth about themselves. The real challenge is realizing that the reason they're stuck, the reason they're still chasing you, is because they never took the leap. They never took the risk. They never believed they could break free from the chains that bind them. And that's why they'll always be a step behind. But you have no limits. You've proven time and time again that you can overcome anything that stands in your way. You've conquered fears that would have paralyzed them. You've faced setbacks that would have broken them. And through it all, you've kept moving forward, kept pushing, kept evolving. And as you continue to climb higher, they'll be left looking up at you, trying to figure out how to catch up, but knowing deep down that they never will. So let them try, let them chase, because the reality is they will never be able to catch up to someone who has already broken free from their limitations. They will never be able to keep up with someone who knows no bounds, who refuses to be held back, and who is committed to rising no matter the cost. You are the one who holds the power now. You are the one who flipped the board, and they will always be trying to catch up to a game they will never understand. In the end, they'll always be a step behind because they are still trapped in their own limitations, unable to break free from the constraints they've placed on themselves. Meanwhile, you continue to evolve, adapt, and rise above it all, carving your own path and setting your own pace. You flipped the board, rewritten the rules, and embraced a mindset of relentless growth and transformation. They'll never catch up because the game you're playing isn't one they're equipped to understand. Keep moving forward because the victory is yours, and they can only watch as you leave them behind.